So it's the middle of summer, and according to the have a cold drink thermometer, I'm just pushing 30 degrees Celsius in the studio. That is 80, 84, 85 Fahrenheit. And so naturally, I'm going to have a coffee. This video is going to be all about making mistakes. Probably like having a coffee on a stinking hot day. But this channel is all about my pastel journey. And sometimes on a journey, you just go down the wrong road. So why don't you follow along and see how I go down the wrong road and try and correct it. I've come in to this painting. I've done the background and the face and hair of the girl dancer. And if you've been following the series, fascinating series of photos that this is based on, and starts with this one behind me and the couple dancing, and it all seems just quite lovely. But as the series of photos go along, clearly he's said something quite distressing to her, and she's just now confronting him about it. So I thought I'd do this in real time for you, and I'm just laying down on a dark blue pastel mat, a neutral grey, and this will be not the tint but the pure colour, mid-tone some would call that, but Pan Pastel call it pure. And the mistake I'm going to make is so easy to do in pastel, and that's not to stop when you're ahead. And in this particular case, I do a base layer of either grey or green, sometimes both, and that's because our skin tone is often quite grey. So I should have just left it at that. There we go, that's the mistake. That's all I needed to do, was the hint of his skin, and maybe just a couple of touches. But here we go. It's like, no, in my head, we've got all this red to get in, and that's a bit of magenta mixed with its tint going down. And I had done his ear, and what can happen is you're looking at one thing, and ears of course are very red. You've got a lot of blood close to the surface, sun shining on it, they can be quite translucent, and then because I was looking at the colours of his ear, oh, and this is a terrible mistake, coming in with the violet, just horrendous. So I thought, oh well, the face should have the same colour as well. And the thing with pastel is often you can get carried away and just start putting too much down. And the thing with art is that, and particularly I find with a painterly effect with pastel, not the pencil look, because with pencils you can of course get a very photorealistic, even hyper-realistic, some say, look to your work. And while that's got a charm for some, it's the same as a photo. But a painting has got a lot less detail in it, and purposely so. Although, you know, some paintings like those Dutch masters were just stunning, photorealistic, using very, I guess, thin washes of oils. Washes seems like the wrong expression, but anyway, you can correct me in the comments. So, where was I going? Right. So, a painting has got a lot less information, and what that enables you to do as the viewer is to, when you step back from a distance, your mind will actually just build all these little bridges inside and go, okay, that's missing information, but I'll grab some information from other things I've seen and fill it in. It's incredible. You can actually look at a work of art and it looks fantastic from a distance, then you go up close and you go, what a mess. Which is why as an artist you should always sort of step back every now and then and check your progress. And you'll see in her face, I didn't mind her face, maybe that would be her left eye is a bit angry, and ideally the look I'm going for is a sort of confused, disappointed, but as one of my friends said, she's scowling at him. You can tell he's an old friend because he used the word scowl. I don't think we use that anymore. But yeah, she had a bit of a look, but lots of different colour in her face, along with this sort of pale minty green tint to sort of represent the colour draining from her face. Anyway, here I am cracking on, putting, I think that's ochre, down, trying to rescue this this painting, and I'm just digging a deeper and deeper hole as I go, and that's okay. It's okay to make a mess, as long as you go, well, what did I learn from that? Now that I've dug this tremendous hole, and you know, there's times when you go, I just want to throw this away. I'm done. But it gives you some ideas of, well, what could you do differently? And this led me to think a lot more about a lighter touch with pastels. And I have watched some excellent videos on pan pastels, and what's his name? Les Darlow, I think, is the artist. If you get a chance, look him up. Fantastic work with pan pastels, but he tends to use the Métintes, I think that's how you pronounce it. Métintes? I never get it right. It's a much older classical paper than the pastel mat, and you can't put too many layers on. It'll fill up very quick, and he's made comments before about new artists just getting carried away and putting down too much. Less is more. So as we can see in this, I've got this sort of muddy grey colour, and no matter what I do with it to rescue that face, I just make it worse. And look, there I am trying to put neutral greys back on to see if I can go back to the beginning. But alas, no, that will not be happening. And then I started, you know, mucking up his ear. Just leave the ear alone. It was fine. I guess, you know, on a positive side, there's some good depth going on in the face. We could say it's depth. It's just, oh dear. As I said at the beginning, when going on this journey, there's got to be some detours and mistakes. And if you only ever present to the world your best side, well, I guess you could do that, but there's not much growth in that. And you know, I'd love to see some of Michelangelo's early works. He was probably 5 years old and already creating masterpieces. Or Leonardo da Vinci's, you know, first drawings. So much to learn from seeing, well, this is where they were at to begin with, and then this is how far they managed to go and grow in their journey. And even from this painting, sometimes they're a bit of a regression for me, and I go, oh, I've forgotten how to do this. And other times, you know, the next painting you do, you can see the growth from the last one, which is why I tend to do big paintings. There's a sort of debate sometimes about should you do just a few big paintings, or should you do lots of little ones in order to progress? And for me, I'm quite happy doing the bigger works, because that's where my end game is on. These are 50 by 70 centimeters, the larger pastel matte sheets, and that's about the size I want to work at. So working on a little one isn't going to help me if I want to work on big pieces. And the thing with a big piece is there's a lot of learning goes on that piece. If you're doing a background, so I'm just fiddling around doing a bit of background, improving that and pulling through the colours of his face a little bit more into the background, the greens there. You'll do a lot of background on a big painting, so that's good practice in one go. If you're doing clothes, you've probably got quite a bit of the same cloth to work on. I like doing faces, and here we go. Some days are just bad skin days. Yep, this was a bad skin day. My apologies to the person who it's based on. Anyway, this is how I started to rescue it. I then spent about 6 hours doing his hair. If I could distract the viewer with getting his hair right, then maybe it wouldn't matter so much. And because there was no way I was going to erase his face and start again. And the less is more concept is coming through. I'd already learnt that in his in the clothes that they've got. It's just some colours and shades to represent the clothing, and I've been using the here we go, ring that gong. I'd been using the same colours in the series of paintings. There were 6 in total of this couple, and I was quite happy with her, just to get a different expression. there's definitely some emotion there. I tried different sort of composition with this painting, pushing her more into the foreground and moving him out of frame a bit. But I figured he's kind of turning his back on her in some way, so I wanted more of his back in the picture. But yeah, his hair sort of takes a bit of the sting out of the skin tone and pulls it together, and in the end it wasn't so bad. It could have been worse. That's what we say about our art. Oh well, could have been worse. Let's crack on with the next one. And so that's what I did. And the next one in the series is just off here. And it took me quite a while to do her, because it's quite a sad sort of picture. And by this stage I got quite emotionally invested in this couple. And because you spend a lot of time, so this painting was about 11 hours for me to do, and you know, it was number 5 in the series, so there we go. It's probably about 70 odd hours I'd spent painting them and thinking about them and composing them into what I wanted. There we go. Get a little bit of touch of turquoise green going on. Get it in his hair. Don't often pull out my pastel sticks. It looks like we're coming to the end here, so I'll just do the final reveal of the painting, and then I think we're gonna call it quits. But I thought maybe just to show you the sort of speed I normally do the pans at, and why it takes a bit of time. You only put a little bit of pigment down at a time. And there we go, there's the final picture. So that was my messed up painting, but in the end, it's okay. So thanks for joining, and catch you again.